Hi, Year 6 students. Today I'm going to share with you a summary video for our Week 2 lesson. And I hope that this can help you to revise and also remember what are the key things and skills that we have developed during the second week of our virtual classes. From the very beginning, I have explained to you about the importance of understanding the different scientific skills because apart from learning our topic and the content of science in year 6, it's very important that you learn a lot of skills, basically scientific skills, because you can use these skills in of course sitting for your exam, because most of the exam types in checkpoint are based on skills and of course a little bit of content. So basically, we need to remember that in all our activities and lessons that we cover every week, we focus on developing the research skills, doing fair testing, investigations. Of course, it's very important that we know how to observe variables, things around us, phenomena, diagrams, and so many model representations of images. We also need to learn how to identify materials. We need to identify and classify materials. We need to know how to group materials. These are also scientific skills. When we identify and classify materials, we always need to look at the criteria and also factors, how we consider them as groups, okay, or characteristics when grouping. Pattern seeking means you need to find the repetition of objects, repetition of qualities, repetition of criteria. So the concept of pattern is also a scientific skill that you need to learn in Science 6. So in week 2, we learned about chapter 1, lesson 1.1, the circulatory system. And we tried to understand some keywords relevant to the circulatory system, such as blood vessels, carbon dioxide, circulation, circulatory system, heart, oxygen, pressure, and pulse. Most of you are really good that you are able to use these keywords in sentences, because when you know how to use these keywords in sentences, it means that you have a prior understanding or a little bit of content background of the lesson. Moving forward, we also worked on and discussed about the different parts of the circulatory system. We've spoken about the differences between system, tissues, and organs of the body. And basically, we define what circulatory system is all about. So when we say circulatory system, it means the system of the body that is responsible in the blood circulation. What is blood circulation for? Blood circulation is very important because blood is the material or substance that carries food in the form of oxygen to the different cells of our body. So the three main parts of the circulatory system are the heart, the blood vessels, and also blood. Focusing on the heart, our heart has different chambers, and our heart has also different parts inside which are responsible for circulation and pumping. Again, basically, the main function of the heart is to pump blood all over the body. Okay? If you notice in the illustration, the heart is divided into two main chambers, the right and then the left. Each chamber is subdivided into two chambers. So basically there are four. You have the right atrium, the right ventricle, the left atrium, and the left ventricle. If you notice, the color of the sides are different. The right side is blue and the left side is red. What does it mean? The blue color represents the blood that is low in oxygen, or we call it deoxygenated blood, or blood that is low in oxygen. So meaning it carries waste materials. Okay, the the section that is in red represents oxygenated blood or oxygen-rich blood. So if you notice inside the heart, there are two types of blood that are actually circulating. The oxygenated, which is blood without oxygen, and oxygenated blood, which is the oxygen-rich blood. Okay, I will give you just a few seconds to look at the movement of the arrow. The arrow represents how the blood enters the heart from the body, and how this blood flows to the lungs, so that the blood will be cleaned and will receive oxygen, and again coming back to the left side of the heart from the lungs, where it is already oxygen rich blood, and from the left chamber it is being pushed to the aorta, which is an example of artery that carries blood away from the heart. I want you to pay attention very closely with the two main parts of the circulatory system, which are the blood vessels and blood. Blood vessels are like pipes. They are actually the one that transport blood all over our body. We have three types of blood vessels: arteries, veins, and capillaries. And these three blood vessels carry different types of blood. Okay. If you want to know more about the details, please refer to our Schoology daily lesson, and you will see their videos where you can be able to identify the function, the parts and function of blood vessels. All right, so it's very important to remember that blood vessels are carrying different types of blood. And in this particular topic, I help you to develop your skill in collecting data. Remember that you watch video, okay, about blood vessels and also blood. And in that activity for blood vessels, you are required to create the chart that presented the three types of blood vessels and their function. Remember, as I mentioned, we are developing your scientific skills. Collecting data and interpreting data are scientific skills that you need to understand. So if you are confused why we need to do chart writing, why do we need to watch video, why do we need to do research, and Miss Jane is not asking questions, Q&A. This is because we are practicing your skills to develop your scientific skills, which are the collecting data and interpreting data as well. Similarly, we worked on another activity, interpreting and collecting data of blood, where some of you watched the video to find out what are the components of blood. And the components are the red blood cell, white blood cell, platelets, and plasma. So these four. Again, if you want to know more in detail, you can refer to our daily lessons Schoology. All the videos, your slides, and PowerPoints are ready in the video. You can always access them anytime. Okay, we've spoken about a little bit about of course, the function of each blood vessel, the artery that carries blood containing food and oxygen away from the heart, the artery where the exchange of materials take place, and also the veins that carries blood containing wastes such as carbon dioxide from the body towards the heart. Finally, in our last meeting, we tried to do a comparison between the animal circulatory system and human circulatory system. I know that some of you are very confused because you cannot actually think critically how to do it, but remember, we are developing skills. In this particular lesson, we developed the skills of comparing and contrasting using a diagram. Okay, the diagram is here, the diagram of fish, frog, and bird, and we observe how fish, frog, and bird circulatory systems are different from human circulatory system. Again, the skill that we develop here is comparing and contrasting, okay? Meaning to say understanding similarities and differences using picture or image. Okay, so next time, if you want to do a comparison, you have to look at the two organisms first or two animals. For example, fish and frog. So when we say compare, you find the similarities. When we say contrast, it means you need to find the differences. So in what um, in what factors or in what sense are they similar or different? For example, fish and frog. Both of them are similar. Both of them are similar because both of them do have the same components of the circulatory system, such as the capillary, the artery, heart, and vein. But of course, if you contrast fish and frog in terms of their body parts, the differences is that fish has gills and frog has skin. Okay, and of course they, other than that, they also have different unique body parts on their own. Okay, that's it for lesson 1.1 for week 2, and I'll see you once again for week 3 summary.